Walking away can be one of the hardest choices you'll ever make, but it's not about giving up. It's not about escaping your problems or seeking an easy exit. It's a conscious act of self-respect, a form of courage that, when done with awareness, can profoundly shift your life from the inside out. Carl Jung, a pioneer in the study of the human psyche, believed that real inner growth begins when we look at ourselves honestly. It requires recognizing what's holding us back and what drives us toward meaning. And often, that clarity only comes through the difficult yet essential act of letting go of people, surroundings, beliefs, or identities that no longer reflect who we truly are. Take a moment to reflect. How many times have you stayed in a relationship, a job, a location, or even a belief system that deep down didn't feel right? That persistent emptiness, the internal dissonance you can't quite resolve. Those aren't random. They're signals from your unconscious, gentle nudges pointing you toward a more aligned and authentic path. Jung didn't see the unconscious as something to fear or suppress. He saw it as a guiding force, constantly moving us towards psychological integration. But progress requires facing the parts of ourselves we've buried, the fears, insecurities, and past wounds we've pushed aside to maintain an idealized image of ourselves. These parts, often referred to as the shadow in Jungian psychology, don't just disappear. They manifest in our relationships, our emotional patterns, and the dynamics we find ourselves in. If you feel stuck, emotionally drained, or disconnected from your own essence, it's often a reflection of something unresolved within you, something asking to be seen and healed. Healing doesn't always mean staying. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do for yourself is to walk away, to create space between yourself and the person, place, or pattern that's sapping your energy or clouding your clarity. Let's be honest, choosing to leave isn't simple. We live in a culture that glorifies endurance. We're conditioned to equate strength with perseverance, holding on even when it hurts. Endurance is often mistaken for success, and resilience is praised even when it comes at the cost of self-neglect. But Jung challenges that notion. He suggests that clinging to what no longer helps us grow isn't noble, it's self-betrayal. Real strength lies in knowing when to release something, in honoring your truth, even if that means disappointing others or stepping away from what's familiar. Imagine the freedom you'd feel if you let go of what drains you, the job that doesn't feed your spirit, the relationship that leaves you feeling unworthy, the expectations that were never truly yours. What kind of energy would you reclaim? What kind of life could you build if you chose inner peace over external approval? Letting go isn't weakness. It's a powerful declaration to your inner self. I am ready for something better. I am ready to live as who I really am. And when you take that step with intention, a subtle transformation begins. You start to reconnect with yourself. Your inner voice becomes clearer. That quiet guidance, always present, finally gets heard. Jung believed that our surroundings and relationships don't just influence us, they reflect us. The people we're closest to mirror not only our strengths and values, but also the unresolved aspects of our inner world. So when you remain in relationships that leave you feeling small or emotionally depleted, you're ignoring a deeper truth trying to emerge. Walking away isn't selfish. It's self-awareness in action. It's the point at which you honestly ask, is this helping me grow, or is it keeping me stuck? The answer may be painful. It might shake the foundation of your life. But it can also set you free, because clarity brings healing. Jung called this journey individuation, becoming your truest self. Not the version shaped by social expectations, not who you were told to be, but who you actually are beneath all the roles and facades. Individuation demands we stop compromising ourselves for comfort or approval. It asks us to leave behind what no longer represents our truth, no matter how familiar it's become. But how do you know when that moment has arrived? The signs are usually present. Persistent discomfort, restlessness, emotional fatigue that no amount of sleep can fix. These are not minor annoyances. They're internal guideposts alerting you that you're out of alignment with your deeper self. Most of us wait for a crisis before making a change. But what if you didn't wait? What if your current discomfort is already reason enough to act? Walking away isn't about neglecting others. It's about returning to yourself. It's about honoring your inner evolution, even when it's difficult, even when others don't understand. And while it may be uncomfortable, that decision often leads to genuine healing, emotional balance, and real freedom. You weren't meant to simply endure the life handed to you. You're here to create one that aligns with your core essence. In choosing to walk away, you're not ending a story. You're beginning a new one rooted in self-honesty, not fear, one guided by authenticity rather than obligation. And that may be the most meaningful journey you'll ever take. Jung often emphasized that spiritual development takes courage, not a loud, heroic kind, but the quiet, persistent kind that shows up in moments of loss, change, and uncertainty. It takes courage to release something that once felt essential, a long-term relationship, a stable job, or even a belief that has shaped you for years. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean that what came before had no value. It means recognizing its role in your life, learning what you needed to learn, and making a conscious choice to let it go so that something more aligned can take its place. And by doing that, you're not only liberating yourself, you're allowing that person or situation the freedom to evolve on its own path. Jung believed in the deep interconnection of all things. So when you release what no longer fits, you open space for what does. That's not just self-love. It's compassion for all involved. Of course, this process isn't linear. It's often accompanied by uncertainty, nostalgia, and fear. Letting go can feel like stepping into a void, especially when you've grown accustomed to even uncomfortable stability. But this is where Jung's insights are most helpful. He spoke of the transformational power within chaos. In the emptiness that follows release lies a sacred opportunity, a blank space where healing and reinvention can take place. It's by facing this emptiness, rather than fleeing from it, that your true self begins to emerge. Individuation means embracing your shadow, the denied, forgotten, or rejected parts of your psyche. And by integrating them, you don't become someone new, you become whole. Think back to a time when you had to walk away from someone or something. It may have felt like a loss at first, but in time, you may have noticed something unexpected. Peace, clarity, quiet, strength. That's not random. Jung believed that when we let go of what doesn't truly belong to us, roles, expectations, emotional burdens, we make space for our authentic nature to surface. And while that kind of awakening can be freeing, it's rarely easy. One of the hardest parts is navigating judgment from others. Society often questions choices that defy norms, especially when they involve walking away from convention. Jung called this the conflict between the authentic self and the adapted self. The authentic self is raw, intuitive, deeply aligned. The adapted self is shaped by the need to fit in and be accepted. So when you walk away from something that no longer serves you, you're removing the mask and reclaiming your true voice. That's a radical act. It not only changes your life, it subtly invites others to do the same, but not everyone will understand. Some may criticize your decision or pressure you to return to old patterns. This is when Jung's philosophy becomes your compass. Trust your intuition, stay rooted in your inner knowing, and remember that walking away isn't evasion, it's conscious accountability. You're not avoiding problems or running from growth. You're acknowledging a truth. You can't thrive in an environment that drains your spirit. You can't heal in a space that reopens your wounds. and you can't find purpose while clinging to what no longer aligns with your path. This truth is more than just freeing, it's transformative. It liberates not only you, but also others from the expectations they were never meant to meet. Jung teaches us that personal evolution begins at the edges of what's familiar. It's in those moments of uncertainty, when clarity is distant and the ground feels unstable, that we discover real resilience. Fear of change is simply the voice of our shadow self, the part of us that whispers doubts and urges us to stay small. But Jung didn't see those voices as enemies. They're parts of you that long to be heard, understood, and embraced. The key is not to silence or reject them, but to listen with compassion, trace their origin, and then choose differently. Every time you walk away from what no longer serves you, you interrupt a pattern. These patterns, often hidden, are shaped by the limiting beliefs we've carried for years. Jung saw them as not only personal, but also collective, the collective unconscious. It's a shared space of archetypes and experiences that influence our lives in subtle, powerful ways. So, walking away is more than a personal act. It's archetypal. Like the hero who meets the dragon not to destroy it, but to understand it and grow stronger. Transformation doesn't happen overnight. It's a long process, one that demands patience and self-kindness. There will be doubts, days when the past calls you back, promising safety. But remember, growth isn't a straight path. It's a spiral, light and shadow alike. It is the part of us striving for integration and truth, not just ease. When you walk away from things that no longer reflect your truth, you let the self guide you. You step away from ego-driven illusions and into something more genuine, your authentic path. That said, this shift requires bravery. Walking away can feel like losing your foundation. You may need to release relationships, roles, or environments that once felt like home, even if they were harmful. It can feel like entering unfamiliar territory with nothing but your inner compass to guide you. Yet it's precisely in this discomfort that transformation begins. You're not running, you're choosing growth. You're choosing truth over illusion, progress over stagnation. Jung reminds us that such choices are not without purpose. When you release what no longer serves you, you create room for what truly matters. And in that space, your unique purpose may begin to surface, the one that connects you to something greater. Often walking away comes with grief, not only for what you're leaving, but for the version of yourself that existed in that space. Letting go of a situation, a person, or a past chapter usually means letting go of who you were in that context. Someone shaped by fear, pain, or limitation. This pain, while difficult, is essential. Jung once said, "Sadness is the cradle of wisdom." Through grief, you learn to appreciate your past experiences, to find meaning in them, and to prepare yourself for what lies ahead. Grief isn't weakness, it's a wise teacher. It expands your capacity to love and to understand, both yourself and others. As you go through this process, expect resistance from others and from within. Your mind may argue that staying where you are is safer or easier. But real growth rarely happens in comfort. It's within moments of fear and doubt that your strength is built. Over time, you'll notice a shift. This decision to step away will begin to reshape your perspective. Relationships won't feel like burdens. Instead, they'll nourish and uplift you. Challenges will no longer seem insurmountable, but will appear as chances to grow and evolve. This transformation isn't sudden or magical. It's the outcome of living in alignment with your inner truth. And the beauty is that this process doesn't just benefit you, it sends ripples outward. Jung believed that living authentically uplifts everyone around you. When one person commits to truth, it can inspire others to do the same. This is the ripple effect of spiritual growth. By walking your path with integrity, you may unconsciously light the way for others, but it's important to remember, walking away doesn't mean abandoning love or connection. It means redefining love on your terms. Jung taught that our relationships reflect our inner state. By letting go of connections that no longer nourish your soul, you're not closing off from love. You're creating space for deeper, more meaningful connections. Letting go becomes a return, a reconnection to who you truly are. It's like arriving home after a long journey and realizing everything you needed was within you all along. Jung viewed the unconscious as a vast ocean of insight, intuition, and answers, things we often search for externally, but can only truly access by going inward. Walking away from what doesn't resonate is the first step to reaching this inner ocean of wisdom. And when you make that decision, something powerful happens. You start to feel clarity where confusion once lived. That quiet inner voice you may have ignored begins to speak more clearly. Jung called this the connection to the self, the very center of who you are. From this place, your decisions begin to align deeply with your truth. It's crucial to understand this journey isn't about perfection. Jung emphasized that the goal of life is wholeness, not flawlessness. Wholeness means embracing every aspect of yourself, your light and your shadow, your victories and your mistakes. Choosing to walk away is not about feeling superior or rejecting others. It's about recognizing that you deserve to exist in spaces that reflect your authentic self. Sometimes, the most compassionate thing you can do is simply say goodbye. There will be moments when you look back, and that's okay. You may miss the familiarity of people or places you've left behind, but during those moments, remind yourself of why you began this path. Your soul was seeking something more, something that couldn't be found in the space you once occupied. And trust that the space you've cleared is being filled, gradually, with new connections, insights, and opportunities aligned with who you are becoming. Jung spoke of synchronicity, the mysterious way life affirms that you're on the right path. When you're aligned with purpose, life responds. People appear, events unfold, opportunities arise. These aren't coincidences, they're reflections of a life rooted in truth. This isn't chance. It's the natural consequence of living. In harmony with your deeper self, the act of walking away clears not only your external life, it clears your inner world. You begin to feel again, to rediscover forgotten parts of yourself. You redefine your identity, not by outside expectations, but by your own desires. And this is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. As you start trusting your inner voice, as you follow signs from your unconscious, a new level of awareness opens up. One guided by love, not fear or obligation. Love that begins within and radiates outward. That's where real transformation begins. Jung described this as individuation, a deep inner process of becoming who you were always meant to be. In this light, walking away is not just about freedom, it's about integration, bringing together your dreams, fears, gifts, and shadows. Shadow work is central to this journey. Jung taught that the shadow isn't to be eliminated. It's not our enemy. It's part of us. A reflection of traits we've hidden because they didn't match who we thought we should be. But growth begins when we face the shadow and bring it into the light. Walking away allows us to face these hidden parts, and in doing so, we transform them. Take, for example, someone who leaves a toxic relationship. Initially, they might feel guilt, fear, or self-doubt. These emotions are uncomfortable, but they're meaningful. They point to deeper truths. Perhaps they reveal a pattern of self-abandonment or a fear of not being enough. By acknowledging these inner realities, we free ourselves from their control. And as we walk this path, the outer world begins to reflect our inner change. Jung believed that our surroundings shape our psyche. When we release old relationships, Habits or environments, we make space for new, more aligned experiences. And that space doesn't remain empty. It begins to draw in people and situations that match our growth. These new connections don't require you to hide. They invite you to show up, fully, honestly. As you evolve, your relationships evolve. Shallow bonds fade. In their place come connections that nourish your spirit. This isn't coincidence. Jung believed that living in alignment naturally draws others who resonate at the same frequency. These are people who don't fix you. They witness you. They walk beside you, encouraging your growth. But let's be real. This journey isn't a straight line. Some days, doubt will creep in. You might feel tempted to go back to what's familiar, even when you know it no longer fits. In those moments, remember, spiritual growth isn't about perfection. It's about progress. Every choice to honor your truth brings you closer to freedom and authenticity. And this growth reveals itself in a beautiful way. Your trust in life deepens. Walking away is an act of faith. It's trusting that life will meet you where you are and guide you forward. Jung called this surrender, allowing life to unfold without resistance. And as you lean into trust over fear, something shifts. You feel more in tune with the world. You begin to notice the signs, the small affirmations that you're on the right path. These synchronicities were always there. Now, you're awake to them. As you continue this journey of self-awareness and healing, remember this: letting go of what no longer serves you is not abandonment. It's a return to your essence, a commitment to your peace, your truth, your wholeness. Jung believed the purpose of life isn't to live for others' approval, but to find and live your own truth. When you do, a quiet magic emerges. You feel lighter, clearer, and more connected to who you really are. And as your inner world aligns, so does the world around you. The people, the experiences, and the opportunities that enter your life, they're not accidents. They're reflections of your commitment to live authentically. And the more you walk this path, the more your presence becomes a force for yourself and for others.